All right, guys. Well, I guess we can get started. I don't know if there's anyone else jumping on tonight or not.
Dennis will be here in a half an hour.
Okay.
7:30. He'll be doing the tips tonight.
Is he
But
going
he
to do?
said-
Is he going to do his pictures or something else?
Yes. No.
Okay.
What he sent to us.
Okay.
You and I.
All right. I was wondering if because he mentioned in the email he wanted to do them in like June, but that's cool.
Well, yeah, I asked him if he wanted to do it tonight. He says that's great, but he won't get here until 7:30.
Okay. No
Yeah,
problem.
I had lunch with him. We all had lunch together at Sharky's, and he told me the same thing. He said he would be on tonight. It would just be a little bit later.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Mhm.
All right. Well, as far as stuff going on, I really don't have much. Y'all picked up your pictures. I heard, I seen a message that said a few of you sold some pictures at the museum. So I'm not going to take the glory of saying that. I'm going to let Jim say that because I'm sure he's got a report on that.
Do you want to hear that now?
Yeah, go right ahead. I don't really have much, so we can fill the time in however you want.
Well, first, I would just like to give Susanna, I told you so.
I told her so too, but
And not only that, but I want to know, Suzanne, the difference between the pricing that you had on that photo versus the pricing that you wanted to reduce it to at the night of the reception. And I want a cut of the
You
difference.
want the difference.
Yes.
That sounds fair to me. Well, I just hope that whoever bought it enjoys it.
I'm sure they will. But yeah, then I had it's I titled it Hay Bales. It was a farm scene from out near Hannahstown. That sold, which surprised me. I was really surprised with that, pleasantly surprised. And I didn't hear back from anybody else whether any others had sold or not. So I think maybe it was just the two of them.
yeah, I think,
Well, congratulations.
yes, both of you.
Yep. Yeah, we'll pat ourselves on the back.
I told Suzanne we were standing there talking that every time I turned around, somebody was stopping to look at our photo and they were stand there and have a discussion about it. So everybody seemed to like it. So I wasn't too surprised whenever it sold.
Well, thank you, Annie. I don't know if you saw my suggestion about our next exhibition to have cats sitting on hay bales in the photos.
It might work.
Anybody providing the cats to sit them on there or what?
There might be at Round Hill Farm. There's like a whole bunch of cats there, so I might make a stop and, put one.
Corral a couple of them, put them in the cages and bring them along or what?
No, they already have cats there.
We'll just find the hay bales and stick them on there.
Yeah.
I want to know what person ever managed to instruct a cat to do something.
I
I've
taught,
never seen one cat ever do what it was told to do.
I actually taught
they have
my
a
cat,
mind of the-
yeah.
But
I taught my cat to retrieve a ball and bring it back and put it in my hand. And we'd play ball, just like Trixie. Y'all know Trixie. Well, I had my cat that did that. So
that's
you can
good to know.
actually teach them. Yeah. I also walk my cat, the one you see here, on a leash. And we'll walk out in the fields and stuff. So you can teach cats to do stuff.
Yeah, you can.
That's really good.
So on the subject of WPS photo exhibits, put out an email request back. It's probably been a couple of weeks now. We need a coordinator for the show in the fall at the Greensburg Arts Center to coordinate activities between the club and the Arts Center staff. So far, I've not received a volunteer, so I guess I'll put out a plea. We need a volunteer to coordinate that show in the fall. So if you want to touch base with me privately, by all means do so. If you have questions about what's involved in it, either talk to myself or Annie.
I
I
was
see a hand
thinking,
waving.
go ahead.
See a hand waving.
Oh, Marty, go ahead.
I was thinking maybe I would try picking it up for us.
Okay, well, I will interpret maybe as yes.
I do too. I was
Okay.
gonna
Maybe.
find out wiggle room.
No, there's no wiggle room. Thanks, Marty.
I
I
would
said,
like a
oh.
partner though.
You want what?
A partner.
You got one. I'll help you as much as I possibly can.
Very
All
good. All right.
Okay.
So Marty's
All
gonna
right,
do
thank
it, and
you.
she's got a staff of one to help.
I think we need to congratulate Jim because he won the photography award at the community college show this week. So congratulations, Jim.
What did
Thank
you win?
Candy.
He
What,
won
down
the
at
photography award.
Art Nationals?
Yep,
Well, congratulations.
thank
Very
you.
good.
Jim, mentioned that you're going to split the amount with all that are here present tonight, correct?
Yeah,
Did you say that? I think you said
Yeah, I
that.
did.
We got that
Yeah.
recorded.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why I'm glad you're recording it, Brian.
I'll buy you coffee, Bob.
So Jim, what photo did you win the award with?
It was called A Foggy Morning at the Lake. It was a black and white. I know you've been to Mammoth Park,
Mhm.
the little peninsula that sticks out in the lake.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
I went there pre-sunrise back a year or two ago, and it was foggy, and so it's basically two trees with reflections in the water and a bunch of fog. It's very minimalist, if you will.
Very nice.
I like that photo. I also liked your castle. So.
The castle was nice.
Congratulations. And congratulations, if I know I'm late, on you and Suzanne for selling your photos at the museum.
Yeah, we talked about that before you got
I
on.
know, I'm late,
Thank
sorry.
you.
She was busy earlier.
And then in as far as volunteers go, the other one I'll just remind you about, put out a notice, Latrobe, well, the Latrobe Art Center in particular, but not just for the Art Center. The Latrobe's Mr. Rogers Family Days is coming up in June, and they wanted some just volunteer photographers to take shots that they'll use in their social media accounts. So let me know if you're interested, and we'll get you information on how to provide your photos after the day's done. That's all I got, Brian.
Okay. Thank you, Jim. All right. Anybody else got anything they want to talk about? All right. Okay. I was looking at the upcoming calendar, and next month is our photo walk is the Old Bedford Village. And we had that as a to be determined for as far as what day and stuff like that. So I've got their calendar up looking at it. And it will be June 26th will be the date. That is the Wild West weekend.
That's fun.
The 26th is a Sunday. That's the day I'm going, but they do have it going on Sunday or Saturday as well. So if you wanted to go out on a Saturday, you're welcome to do that as well. The 25th is the Saturday. 26th is the date that I will go. And that is a lot of fun. So I've been there several times.
Yes.
Annie's been there several times. Jim, I think you've been out there for the Wild West at least once.
I've been out a couple of times.
Margie's been out. I don't know who else has been out, several other people, but it's always a good, it's a fun one to go to. Lots of action, lots of cool stuff to photograph. So that's that will be the June 26th will be the June photo walk to Old Bedford Village.
Brian, I'm
And-
sorry, I missed, what's the event there that day?
The Wild West weekend.
Oh, okay.
And let me see what their time is, 9 to 5. So we'll be there at 9 o'clock. Well, I'll be there all day. So, but, so whatever time you want to come is fine, but I'll be there all day. I'll start the day there at 9 o'clock. And admission is only $10. So just wanted to bring that up so everyone knows when that'll be. Don't really have anything else that I think I need to look at here. As Margie mentioned, the Yellow Dog Village is no more. They're not doing that anymore. So we'll make an adjustment there for August. Yeah, everything else is scheduled at this point, so we'll make an adjustment there.
Is going to Prescott, or however you say that name, is that too far for everybody?
Prescal,
Yeah,
I don't know. Every time we tried to do that as a group, it ended up being me, you, and Annie.
yeah.
Most people, I don't know, for some reason, don't want to drive up there. It's not that far of a drive, but so we'll take a look at August and see what we got going on, see what's going on around the area too. I haven't seen any dates yet for the Renaissance Festival, which is typically in about that time zone, time wise as well. So
In August.
yeah, September, August. So we'll take a look. All right. Anything else anybody has they want to bring up or mention or talk about before we move on to whatever's next?
I've got a few what's in the news segments.
Okay. Jim, you're welcome to do that at any point.
Okay. And then that should probably by the time I'm done, Dennis will be on. He can do the tips and tricks at that point.
Okay.
And then what's our presentation for tonight?
Well, it was originally scheduled to be June, May. I don't know what month it is. May. Post-processing special effects by Beth, but Beth cannot be here tonight. So we'll figure something out as we go along. Margie, can you do anything about the brushes and that we talked about a while back?
Oh, I don't have it set up.
Okay.
Darn, if I would have known at least 2 days ahead of time, I could have done that without a problem, but
All right. That's not a problem. We'll come up with something else.
yeah.
I'll think while you guys are talking.
Okay. For some reason, I did share, but I didn't get the opportunity to select what I was going to share, which seems odd.
Well, it looks like you're sharing your desktop right now.
Okay, what's interesting, nothing came up to like normally to select what you want to share, so
Yeah.
this will work. So you see Canon launches R7 and R10?
Yes.
Okay. I saw this just the other day. And by the way, I apologize because Pat and I are traveling. I haven't really been able to look through these articles to kind of prepare to tell you a little bit about them tonight. So I'll definitely be winging this. But the R7 and the R10 are APS-C mirrorless cameras that are coming out. They're not out yet from what I understand. They're coming out sometime later this year. And I don't know if this is significant. You Canon users can tell me this. It's supposed to be with an RF mount. What is the RF there? Can someone inform me what the RF mount is in particular?
The RF is the mirrorless mount.
It's a mirrorless mount. Okay.
Right, the mirrorless cameras.
Mhm.
EF is the mod for the typically used for typical standard SLRs.
Okay. So is it the fact that it's an RF, was that made for the full frame mirrorless, and they're simply providing that same mount for the APS-C sensor?
I believe so, but I don't know for sure. I have a full frame, so
Okay.
It's just like the EF mounts. One thing to take a look at just straight away, look at the size of the opening. So it gives you an idea that that's probably the full size lens mount being used in a somewhat smaller camera. That's a huge opening. Look at the diameter of that opening.
I see what you're saying, Rex. That makes sense.
Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of Canon's mirrorless cameras will use the RF mount, all of them.
Oh, okay. Well, just, and again, educate me then. If you had an existing RF mount lens for a full frame, you could use it on the APS-C camera then.
yeah, I would say yes because of what Rex just pointed out, the size of the screen.
And it kind of says it down there. It says the R7 is a spiritual successor to the 7D series, while the R10 brings a Rebel-like camera to Canon mirrorless lineup. Rebel being the name of the APS size C cameras.
Okay.
Rebels, the Rebel IT, and like we have a 60D here. That's all the cameras that are using the somewhat smaller sensor, the APS-C size sensor.
Okay.
They had that Canon 7 was always the hybrid one. It was the one that was kind of in the numbered with all the higher level cameras, but it was also one with the crop sensor. So that's what they're talking about. This 7 is close to the 7D.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The R7 rather is close to the 7D.
This, so it's a 32.5 megapixel sensor, which is pretty good size.
Yeah, tremendous.
15 frames mechanical, 30 frames electronic.
What was that, DL? I'm sorry.
Shooting 15 frames mechanical and 30 frames electronic shutter.
Oh, that was I kind of skipped over that. I'm sorry. So the R7 later this year, it doesn't even give you a month. $1,500 for the body.
That's not bad, but what's the lens cost?
Your EF lenses with a $100 mount. That's what it costs.
1,900 is probably 1,900 paired for the.
Yeah. Of course,
With
they
a new-
discount those kit lens when they sell it with the camera body normally. So that difference might not be indicative of how much the lens would be outright if you bought it separately.
Yeah, well, it's saying it's 1,900 with the kit lens, an 18 to 150.
Okay. Yeah, I see it there.
And then the R10, let's go down to
So
the
$500 bucks.
Okay, so the 10 is a 24 megapixel sensor.
1.6 crop factor.
We'll go down to the pricing here. We'll call it $1,000 for the body.
980.
I only charge them $100 more for the lens.
It's almost like giving it away.
Yeah. Well, $100 for the one lens and 300, little less than 400 for the other lens.
Yeah. That's quite the wide range on that second lens, 18 to 150.
That's a nice range. Too bad it doesn't have one that's like an f2. That'd be a nice carrying around lens.
So that's it on Canon. So this one I don't know a thing about, other than what caught my eye was I didn't really know Sony had smartphones, to be quite honest, but apparently they do, or they're going to. But what caught my eye here was with an optical zoom on the smartphone, which I haven't heard of yet. You kind of knew these things would be coming along. Shoots between 85 and 125 millimeters. So if one manufacturer has it, you can be sure that the others will soon have it if they don't yet.
Yeah.
But that'd be kind of nice, I think.
No, pictures, if the lens works right, it would be nice, to have a nice sharp lens, sharp lens like that
Yeah.
to be able to zoom in.
Yeah, because obviously the digital zoom is not all that great on those phones.
Mm-mm.
And here's another one on smartphone, Motorola, 200 megapixel sensor. I'm not sure why anybody thinks 200 megapixels necessary, but
There was another smartphone years ago that had something like that, and I forget which one it was, but it didn't go over very well.
yeah. They must be pulling some tricks to get that many megapixels in a smartphone sensor.
Well, what's that one setting that we have on ours, Jim?
It goes up to like 108 or something.
1080 or?
Well, that's the resolution.
It's plus or minus 100, Annie. I don't remember if it's like 90 something or the
108. I'm sorry, 108 megapixel.
Okay, I thought that's what it was. Yeah.
So 3 to 4, 108 megapixel. 108 megapixel. I had to look. I knew one of the ones that we had had a lot of pixels.
I don't think I've ever used that feature, to be honest with you. I don't know if my camera has enough storage to take more than 10 photos at that rate.
No, it's pretty good.
Okay, so here's some just award-winning photos. And apparently this organization is called All About Photo, and it's their 2022 awards. Nice work composition. Whoop, that's not one of those. This one I thought was kind of cool. I'm not sure what he's preparing on the grill, but this actually, when you think about it, this kind of looks like Brian cooking at the picnic. Maybe that's where that's from. I don't know.
Okay, shish kebab.
Say what's being cooked. Oh well. That's moody looking.
Looks like the Lone Ranger going there on the white horse.
By the way, this reminds me of something. Carl, I did at your suggestion on my desktop, downloaded that software that keeps all these ads from intruding while you're scrolling down through these articles. I never bothered to do that on my laptop here, so I might have to do that next. That's it on those. And, okay. Too bad Beth's not here. She spends all that money on those lens baby lenses. And this photographer uses pantyhose to cover over their lens to get a nice soft focus. So has anybody played that game by any chance? Nope. Marty, I think this is definitely right up your alley. You can try this and report back to us.
I've heard of that trick a long time ago.
You have?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not getting a lot of these things. I apologize. But it's kind of a cool look.
Mhm.
I guess you can just cover part of the lens as well. I'm surprised that photos are as clear as they are having the pantyhose on the lens, so to be honest.
Depends on how much you stretch it over it.
Yeah.
And you could always easily put a hole in the middle of it.
Well, I think that's what it was. They had a rip in it. And they were just using.
Oh, they
that-
talked about a rip. So they're using the rip to just expose the portion, well, to
Right.
have it short part of it. Yeah.
So they probably have the a hole in the middle and then just using it on the outside for the softness.
But there's some nice looking effects. Okay, that's it. And one more. And this gets back to something that seems like we talk about every month, and that is, what are people doing with artificial intelligence? And this one is interesting in that there was a similar program, I think a month or two ago, that we talked about that did this. You just tell it what you want to be in the photo, and it generates the photo for you. So there's a couple of examples here. Come on. Okay, I know the dog likers here. So here was the description: Pomeranian king with tiger soldiers. And that's what was created by just that statement, if you will. So this one is, no, it doesn't tell me what the, oh, I thought they all told you what the text was for this. Well, obviously it was a panda wearing sunglasses playing guitar in the park. Oh, shoot. Why isn't it, I don't know why it isn't showing up on that one. But I think that was the description of it. This one here is the Toronto skyline with Google Brain logo. A blue jay standing in a large rainbow macaroons.
Macaroons.
So that's what you can do with AI. How about that? Oh, actually, Suzanne, that plays right into your suggestion. We'll create a photo of a cat on hay bales in a farm field. Okay, that does it for me. I will stop my share. Oh, you know, no, can't do that. Alrighty, back to you.
Okay, thank you, Jim. You guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you, Jim. Appreciate that. Hey, and guess who's just popped in? Dennis.
Oh, good timing.
Hey, Mitch. See, Jim, you were right. Your timing was perfect.
Yeah, really.
We'll give Dennis a minute there to get in and settled in. Last week I shouldn't say last week, last time we talked, I believe, we had critiqued some of my photos that I did at the Cary Furnace. And I was wondering, would you be interested in seeing me how I did one of those as far as the color correction and get the color the way it was?
Yes.
Yeah, I would, Brian. Hey,
Okay.
Brian, before you do that, I'm going to blow my own horn here for a second. Can I reshare?
Yeah, good.
Hold on.
Hi all.
Hi, Dennis.
Hi, Dennis.
Oh, shoot. What is it? Oh, where'd it go? That's the photo from the Westmoreland Nationals.
Nice.
Very nice.
What was really strange about this, and maybe someone can explain this, when I got home from the park, I don't know how many photos I took that day, but there were a bunch of them. This particular one had when I say a blue cast, it looked like I had put a blue filter in front of the lens. And I was able to get rid of the cast, but I never did figure out what could have possibly caused that to occur, whether it was a problem with my post-processing software that just interpreted it that way, or what happened to it. I was able to remove it. It never happened to me before then, and it hasn't happened since, but it occurred on this photo.
Well, when you shot it in color and then reduced it to black and white.
Yep.
And it had
What was that, Carl?
Was it your white balance?
Well, I mean, it could have been something with white balance, but if I had had just some strange setting on it, you would have thought it would have occurred on photos in front of it or behind it, if you will. And that was just that one photo.
And it was only after you desaturated it to black and white that you saw the blue.
The raw photo.
The raw photo.
Literally completely blue. Well, I shouldn't say completely blue. It was a very, very strong blue cast to it. Oh, freaky things happen, I guess.
All right.
Before we get started on the tips and tricks, I want to remind everybody that your tips and tricks can be anything: photography. It can be books, videos, your camera equipment that you really like, your lens, your favorite photographer, anything to do with photography. Having said that, September, October, November, December are completely opened, and I really, really need some of y'all to step up, if you don't mind, and take one of those months. It can be a few minutes long. It can be up to 15 minutes long. It doesn't matter. But we all know something about photography.
All right.
Archie, weren't you and I supposed to work together on doing a macro presentation in
Oh,
September?
no, this is tips and tricks. And you were going to do it on, Carl, July.
July?
Your tips and tricks is for July.
It's two different
Margie-
presentations, Carl.
Margie,
Yeah,
Carl's
I know
also
it.
doing
That's
a
what I was telling
presentation
him.
at some point.
Yeah, your macro is what, August or, I don't know
September.
when you do it, September?
Yes.
Okay, tips and tricks you do in July.
Carl, tips and tricks is just a quick 10, 15-minute thing. Nothing, it's not like a full program
Spectacular.
or anything like
Yeah.
that.
Grab some video if you want. Show some of your pictures, you know,
Yeah.
just anything
anything that you wanna do.
photography.
Yeah, if you remember last month, Carl, I had it. I did the one on the noise reduction.
It could be anything. Take a picture of your car or your motorcycle and
It's right there.
okay, of your motorcycle and tell us what you like, you know, how you like, you know, how you took the picture, you know, anything.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, I'm still waiting. September, October, November. I'm gonna start assigning it. They'll not show up that month is my problem. I really do need somebody for those months. So please, please think about.
I'll take October, Margie.
Oh, thank you, Bob.
Margie, I'll take September.
Gotcha.
There's two of your months. There you go. Look at that.
Yep, that's fantastic. Like I said, it's so easy.
Hmm.
To be anything, photography.
What months are left, Margie?
We have November and December.
I'll do November. It's going to be a show and tell. Pat and I are doing a trip up to, in September. We're doing a
Great.
trip to Montreal, Quebec, and Ottawa.
Okay, and
I'll just do a photo show and tell.
I'll go ahead and do December.
There you go. Now you got it all under control. Hey,
I've
hey
got
Jim,
it.
while you're in Ottawa, let me know. I might have a vehicle up there that needs picked up at one of the plants. You can drive it back home. Then we'll,
He can drive back a brand new car.
we'll at least have one to sell that month.
I'll let you know, Brian.
All right. Dennis, how much
Just-
time do you need for your photos or for whatever?
I don't know. I think it's 30 photos, so maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Oh, okay. All right. So we got a little bit of
Not a
time.
lot.
All right.
Excuse me. I was at the museum to pick up my photos and Jim's photos were still there. Jim, did you pick them up?
You're talking about Jim Meehan.
Yeah.
He's not, yeah, there he is.
Yeah, he's there. He's not. Okay. He must have shut his
He's
audio.
muted, but if he stepped away, I can answer for him. Yes, he did.
He did. Okay, fine. Good.
All right. All right.
Oh, Jim just did a chat. His microphone isn't working.
Yeah, he did pick them up. Microphone not working. Yep.
Is this working now?
Yep.
Oh,
yes.
awesome. I don't know what I did, but yes, I did pick them up.
Okay, good.
All right. Dennis, do you want to go now or do you want me to do a little bit of Lightroom here real quick?
That's up to you.
Okay. Well, let's do a little bit of Lightroom real quick and then we'll let Dennis close out the evening and then we'll go from there. All right. Well, I changed the wrong screen already. All right. Share screen. Okay. And you guys see Lightroom?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you guys had asked about how I did the color and whatnot that I did. Let me pick a picture here real quick. I'll show you what I did. It's actually pretty simple unless we get really, really involved in far as like that picture there. Let's do this one. All right, so what I did to color those pictures that you guys seen was pretty simple. And I kind of got the idea from a video I was watching as far as editing video, actually. A video I was watching on editing video and color correcting video and that kind of stuff. So that's kind of where I got the idea when I started working on these pictures of doing that. And it's really a simple process of just keeping your temperatures where you wanted them. So basically, I would go through and do a quick exposure setup on here. A lot of times I use the auto button and then work from there, darken it up a little bit and contrast and whatnot. And then just full with the temperatures to keep them where I wanted them. So by warming that picture way up like that and get there, now I can bring this exposure back down and get the color that I'm looking for. Quick and simple. I didn't look at anything as far as an exact number. I didn't set this every time to like 8,000 or 7,900 or anything like that. I just did that to look at that. And then as I worked on it, I like things a little darker. So I brought stuff down darker like that. And then worked on it a whole lot with a radial gradient filter. And these are really cool because you don't have to be straight up and down. You can think of these as 3D as well. So if I take this this filter and set it in here like this, I can think of that as being a 3D filter. And I can bring that up. But every time I did that, I kept checking my temperature to make sure that my temperature was going to be what I wanted it to do. So I wanted.
Brian, I'm sorry. What did you mean by 3D filter?
Look at the. I'm not using a 3D filter, but I'm looking at it with the intention of it working in a 3D. I'm looking at it as working in and out of the picture. So by making that a real thin filter across there like that, do you see what I mean? The thin filter.
Yep.
So I'm only working in this section right here, but I'm in my mind, I'm thinking about it as far as depth into the picture. So my next filter back may not be as thin or as bright or whatever. So I worked and like I told you, those filters, when I did this, I had 40 or 50 filters in here. By doing that and working back into the picture, I can adjust each filter based on the depth of the picture. But I always looked at them, instead of looking at them as, if I could do another radial filter, most people put a radial filter on and they look at it like that and it covers an area. I think of them more as in covering a section, if you know what I mean. So I want to work on this pipe here. So now I'm going to work on just that pipe. Brighten it up, make sure my colors stay the same. So that's how I end up with so many different filters, because I'm using these filters for different areas, not so much as an overall or something like that. So, and lots of filters is how I do it. So I'll put another one in right in here. But twisting these filters around and getting them to go where you want them to is really the part of what I was doing to get what I did. You guys kind of get the idea of that?
Mhm.
That's how I did in if we looked at let me go to a different picture here. If we looked at this picture, That's how I get this information down here and here and these lighting lines and everything like that. Let's see how many filters there were. There's 16 masks on there. I keep saying filters, it's masks. There's 16 different masks on there in different sections all through that picture. You see all the little dots and everything in here that shows you what I did, where I worked. So some of these are brushes, some of these are the radial filter. But think of that radial filter if you kind of think of using it in a 3D version, it makes it easy to think of going 3D into your picture then. So I can add these filters in as an area on the screen, on the picture itself, just this area here, not a full size picture. And that's how I think about them. But each one, you can see here the temperature was way up on that one. So I come over here to this one and I move the temperature up. So each one of those, temperature went to 100% on that particular filter. That's bringing light down from my light source that wasn't there. If I go to this one here, temperature is 100%. So that's how I did that. And if you look, like I said, if you look in here, there is lots of them doing different things. So anyhow, I know there were some questions about how that happened, how that worked out. Here's another one. This one I turned the light bulb on. Let's bring it in. I'll show you what I did with it. If I go to my filters, this one only has 6 in it, but if you look, there's one for the light bulb, and this one here is just the light bulb itself. So I masked the light bulb off and adjusted the exposure almost all the way up. Adjusted my temperature way up to get it yellow, and then worked out from there. So that was one, and then I worked out to the next one, which was a little bit bigger, and then I worked out to another one and another one for an area. And then up in here, this was actually me using a brush just to darken the ceiling of it and everything.
Do you always keep your feather and flow at 100% when you do this? Or do you
No,
vary?
I bounce them around a little bit, but not much. Usually I want that to be really soft. So feather and flow at 100% makes it soft. So I'm not seeing any hard lines unless it's something that I really needed a hard line on. I don't know if I did.
Like the light bulb, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a light bulb. That one was still 100% on the feather. There was one of them that was not. This one here. See the feather 65 on that one. So anyhow,
it's pretty much a sophisticated way to dodge and burn, very localized and much more versatility.
Right. Yes, it is. This is one that I did. It is, it's a different way of dodging and burning by using those. This one has 16 masks in it.
Wow.
And each one does something different, a different spot.
So Brian, do you first have an idea in your mind what you want to do as far as the photograph, the highlights and the shadows and all that? I mean, or you just start at any spot and see how it goes?
No, these pictures in particular, I had these in mind for this style of picture. I wasn't 100% sure on the color or the color cast to it that I did. Until I started messing with the first one, which I believe the first one that I did was the light bulb. I worked on these other ones later, but I believe this light bulb was the first one I did. And once I started that and went to this yellow cast, then I went, well, the rest of the pictures have to follow suit. And so then the rest of the series then became that.
I see. Okay.
So I spent the rest of the series making sure that it was relatively close so that they would work out like that. But that's how I did it. If we go to this one here is the one I put the lights on. So if I go in here, you'll see that each one of those was a mask to turn the lights on.
How about the shadows on those, what do you call it? Valves and all that, or whatever you want to call it. Were those there, Brian, those shadows, those?
Like these shadows in here?
Yeah, those black shadows, yeah.
Yeah, that was photographed. That's the way that was.
Wow, nice.
So
How did you the specific colors onto those lights?
color temperature, saturation and color temperature.
Huh.
Each one to get, I use this hue and saturation to get the color that I wanted out of it. Shadows,
Oh.
shadows and stuff like that. Just fooled
Okay.
around with it till I got it to do what I wanted it to do. But if you look at my history in this particular picture. So there's the original picture. And then if you look at my history, obviously I did quite a bit to get to there.
Wow.
That's quite a result.
Yeah, very nice, Brian. Very nice. Very nice. Adds a different dimension and style to the photograph.
Well,
Yeah.
it's a completely different feel. It's
Right.
it's very good.
How did you get the sunbeams in?
The sunbeams?
Yeah.
Luminar. If you don't have Luminar, you should have Luminar.
I agree.
So here was the original picture for that. That's the original picture. Once I did some color calibrations and stuff on it, I looked at it and went, it just wasn't, I kept coming back to it and looking at it going, I don't know what it needs. It just isn't right. And then I went, you know what? It needs some sunbeams. So I added the sunbeams and I think it made the picture what it is.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. If you're not using
Makes such a big difference.
yeah. If you don't have Luminar, I recommend getting it.
Do you have it as an add-in? Is that how it works? There's a separate program.
I do. I have it as a separate program. So basically I would right click on it, edit in, and go to Luminar, either AI or Neo. I have both. Just to decide. AI, Neo is good, but I think AI is better still. Neo is still coming around. They're still working on it. But when I did this one, I did it in AI. I tried it in Neo and it just wouldn't get where I wanted it to be. So I went back to AI and it worked better in AI. So it flips it over just like if I would say edit in Photoshop. You know, it does the same thing. I tell it to edit in Luminar AI and it builds a preview, sends it over there. We work on it and it saves it back as a separate picture. So if we go here, you'll see, it's not showing it down here. That one's just a regular NEF. And if I go over here, you'll see down here. Oh, no, that one's in an EF too. So, oh no, there it is. Edit TIFF. So when it saved it back, it saves it back as a TIFF file. But,
Brian, did you do this in, let's say, other types of photography like landscapes or portrait photography or anything else besides? I mean, because these are high, a lot of dimensions on these photographs. I mean, there's a lot of contrast, a lot of, structure. Did you try it on anything else like landscapes?
you mean as far as like these radial filters? And
Right,
stuff?
correct, right.
Yeah, absolutely. I use them all the time.
Do you have any samples?
I don't know if I do one here or not. I think it might be in a different catalog.
Okay.
Yeah, that one doesn't have any in it.
Okay, that's fine. I just,
but yeah, I use them. I definitely use them. I use the radial filter and I use, go back to Carrie first. I use, here's one. That has one mask on it, but it has a linear gradient filter and a radial filter. do that. So I use the gradient filter as well, the linear one. And a lot of times I'll use it from upside, or I use them, two of them, one from the top and one from the bottom to get it to do what I want it to do.
What about that sky? Was that from Luminar, or is that just the actual sky that was there?
Yeah, it, if we look there, you seen it said edit TIFF.
Yeah.
That tells you that the sky wasn't there. I added that sky in.
Okay. Very nice effect.
Yeah, if we look at this picture,
Okay.
that's the sky that was there.
Okay.
And was that a Luminar ad again, the sky?
Yeah. Yeah, Luminar, I like it a lot. I've been using it more and more as just to do little things like that. I'm not doing it. I'm not using Luminar as a editing software, but to add a little bit here or a little bit here, I think it works well. And I think it just, if you use it in moderation, it works well, is how I look at it. I just wanted to enhance a picture. And this one was another one that you guys had, there was a question on this one as to whether or not I added the light to this. So let's take this back to the original picture. That's the original picture on that. So the light was there. All I did with it was make the colors what I wanted out of it to get to that. And again, this one was only a few masks. I didn't take very much to get what I wanted to set the colors and stuff. So there was a radial, another radial, and then this was brushes on each one of those spots, on each one of the insulators to get what I wanted.
Question for you. You said you like Luminar AI better than Luminar Neo. What's the difference between them?
The Neo's the new one. And Jim, I don't know, you might be able to answer that question a little bit better than me, but I just, AI's been around a little longer, so I think it works a little bit better. But Neo is their new release and they're putting all their effort into that at this point. So I would assume that AI will probably go away after a while, or support for it will. But this just, for the couple things that I did with it, AI worked better than Neo did. But it could be just me. I'm still learning how to use Neo. Still fooling around with it a little bit.
No, I was just looking curious as far as pricing goes, and it has Luminar by itself is $47 right now. Luminar with Aurora HDR is $67, and the three of them all together is $118. I was just wondering what the differences were.
And don't forget, we can use the WPS 10 code and get 10% off of that.
So you put in WPS 10?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, and that works for a lot of that stuff. And there's a lot of they're running a lot of advertisements right now and sell prices right now, because I don't know if you guys know it or not, but they're based in Ukraine. So they're doing whatever they can to to stay in business at this point. So
yeah,
a lot of information from them and a lot of sales from them. So if you're thinking about buying it, I'll start pushing out some sales here and there when I see them. Well, send them to us.
These are all sale prices. The set of three, the Luminar Aurora HDR and Luminar Neo are $118 on sale right now. Like I said, Luminar and Aurora HD are on sale for $67, and Luminar AI by itself is $47. So they have them all on sale right now.
I'm seeing Luminar Neo for $79 by itself. So
right. So they have the Neo for the package of $118. The Luminar Neo is $79, and they're only charging you $10 for the Aurora HDR. And Luminar AI is at $29 when you buy the three of them together. So $118 for the three.
Yeah, I have all three. one of the things that I don't like about Luminar is that a lot of the additions for like the skies and the different things that you want to add in, you end up having to buy them from them. So they're packages. So it comes with, we'll say 30 skies. I'm not sure what it is, but we'll say it comes with 30 skies. Well, they have 4,000 skies available, but you have to buy the rest of them in different packages. But you can
Brian, you
go
can
out
also use your own skies as
that's
well.
just what I
Yeah,
was going to say.
that's
You
what-
can,
Me
you
too.
can go out and take a picture. You see a nice sky, go out and take a picture of it. You can add that into Luminar and use that as one of the skies that it will replace to.
Yeah.
So that is a nice feature of Luminar. That's really nice because you can add your own things in, and it is capable of using anything that you add to it. So which is really nice. But I have all three of the Luminars, Luminar Neo AI and the HDR thing. And then I have some sort of membership with them too, where they give me, I get some of those skies and stuff or different things that they have every month free. So many, I forget what it is. And it pops out, they send me an email and say, go download these, and you can download them and put them in. But anyhow, just, I wanted to show you what I did and how I did it. But really it's a matter of every edit that I did there was making sure that the color was the right color. So every time I edited with a different mask, I checked the color on that and made sure that that edit worked with the rest of the color of the picture. Okay, that's all I got.
Hey, Brian, just 2 cents on the Luminar products. And this is not going to attempt to answer Annie's question about what's the difference, but Brian already alluded to this. Luminar AI has been around for at least 2 or 3 years now. Neo just was released earlier this year. And if there's something that's less developed than a beta version of software, it's what it is. It's no better than a beta version. The original that came out, I'm going to say it was either late winter or early spring, had lots and lots of features just completely missing from it. And they've been slowly but surely adding features over these last few months.
Yeah.
If you can buy it now, and hopefully by the end of this year's subscription, it'll be fully functional, but it is not a fully functional program at this point in time.
Yeah, I think I agree, Jim, 100%. And they have been adding quite a bit to it. Almost, every 2 weeks, I think I'm seeing an update to it, to Neo. So they're bringing it around, but it doesn't have everything in it. Luminar AI already has everything in it.
Okay.
So, and it's been around a little while, so they've worked the bugs out of it and stuff like that. The first version of Luminar of Neo that I downloaded was horrible. And I had a lot of issues with it, so I wasn't using it. I was using AI, but I've updated it a few times since then, and it is better. But it's still, like I said, in my opinion, AI works a little bit better right now. But it works, and it's a tool that we can use. I don't recommend using it as your editing software, but it is a nice tool to go over to every now and then and do a little work, or make something better that just wasn't capable. Like the sky that day was gray. There was nothing I could do with the sky. It was snowing that day. If DL could attest to that, it was snowing that day. So the sky was gray, but I wanted something more in that sky, so I added it. But anyhow, that's what I did. That's how I did it. A lot of times when I do a place like that, or I go photograph something that's a whole bunch of pictures of the same thing, I try to make sure that the whole edit from one end to the other matches, so that it works as a series. Dennis, of course, does everything in black and white, so it makes it a little bit easier.
Except for what I'm going to show you.
Except for what he's going to show us today. So with that being said, if you guys don't have any more questions, I'm going to turn the meeting over to Dennis.
Well, I do want to say thank you, and you made that look really simple.
Right.
So
Thank you, Brian.
thank you for that.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, Dennis.
All right. The background story is Barb and I, 4 times in 6 years, have gone to Arizona for 3 or 4 months in the winter. It was sort of our decision, rather than living south in South Carolina, we would in fact live in Greensburg, where we have family, and go to Arizona when we can. And we go to Casa Grande. Casa Grande is almost equidistant between Phoenix and Tucson. And this year when we went, there's a desert botanical garden in Phoenix, which is like Phipps, only a different scale. It's desert, obviously. It's outdoors, it's big, but they had an exhibit of Chihuly's glass dispersed through the park. And I thought it was interesting. It was interesting enough. It's bright colors that I should be able to make some decent photographs of it. So what I did was assemble a collection of those that I like, and I thought I would share it. So we'll see. I'm going to take the screen. Oh, share the screen. Desktop. Get Lightroom.
Here we go.
I think we're good.
Yep.
You see that?
Yep.
So that's a Chihuly sculpture. You know, if you've all been to Phipps, I think, and there's a number of Chihuly smaller scale, but similar pieces of work than what you'll see here today, like this yellow, I don't know what you call it. And it is very characteristic of Dale Chihuly to do things like this. It's also very unique that you'll see something unusual in the photograph. There's a cloud in the sky. And when you go to Phoenix, seeing clouds in the sky is rare, particularly at this level of degree. I think they get 330 sunny days a year. And this is sort of backlit with the sun. And we probably went 8 or 10 different times to the botanical garden. We got the membership like we do at Phipps. So we could go at 7:30 in the morning before they allowed regular paying people in. So you could really go and work in quiet, which was interesting. I sent an email to Phipps recently that I said you should allow members to come in early, because it really would be nice to make some photographs before the baby carriages arrive. And that was probably 3 weeks ago, and I'm still waiting for an answer. Not surprisingly. So this is grouped by exhibit subject. So these blue tubes, and these are 7 feet tall, 6 feet tall. And then there were, I think 6 different styles. And I've grouped the individual styles together. And sometimes we were there on bright days, sunny days like this. And some days we were there on overcast days. And a couple of times we were there after sunset. And if you get there at 4 or 5, when the sun's beginning to set, you can beat the crowd. If you wait until 8 o'clock when it's dark, it's too dark to make the photographs. But you get inundated with people who work during the day and want to see the exhibit. So this is one a shot. Another one, getting close to the blue tubes and getting the camera close to the ground and shooting almost straight up. It's a habit I like to cultivate, because it's a different perspective and it's not what you usually see. And sometimes it gives you an interesting photograph.
Dennis, are they glass?
They are glass, hand blown. Yeah. And this is, whoops. Well, next time you go to Phipps, look at some of the glass sculptures, and they're similar.
Mhm.
And apparently what he does is he gets up high, like on a platform above the ground, above the floor, so he can make the long tubes. And you know, how he comes to a decision as to what to put where, I don't know. I don't know. There are glass, they're all glass.
Yeah. Dennis, what holds the glass straight up? I mean, does he have any rods in the middle of the glass?
I think there's a rod, and it's sunk into the ground some. A little bit of a close-up with some of the detail on that particular exhibit. And you can see the cactus surround it. I don't know that I have any cactus in bloom this year. Were very late, and there wasn't a lot of rain. And if there's not a lot of rain, the cactus don't bloom. But you can see in these barrel cactuses, the top of them, there's some blooms getting ready to come out, and some detail in the glass works that accentuate the cactus. The same artwork done at night. This is pretty late, and it's illuminated. That's not the sun. That's the ground illumination that illuminates the glass, and it makes a decent photo. It's unusual, and I like to go to 9:16 for an aspect ratio.
Dennis, you allowed to take a tripod in there since it's outside?
Yes. Which I didn't realize early on. You see a few tripods that come early, both to photograph the garden material and the glass works, but you get a lot of birders because there's a lot of, the cactus attract birds, woodpeckers, various other kinds of birds that make a hole in the side of the cactus and make a nest out of it.
Yeah, roadrunner.
But there's no restriction as to what you can bring in, as far as I know. They might get a little upset if they start blocking the road and people are tripping over it. But I never saw that, and I asked a guard one time, he said you can bring whatever you want. We never did. What I usually do is I pick a lens, 24-70, 70-200, sometimes a zoom, and that's what I shoot with. I normally don't change lenses during the day. And if I need to zoom, I've got 2 feet that work pretty well, and that's how I'll zoom. A different part of the exhibit, different kinds of, similar glass, but different colors and color palette. And I shot this from a bridge with a 70-200 because I like the framing of the plant material around it.
It's neat.
Yeah, and at the same location, I got this young lady reaching in to touch the glassworks, which you're not restricted very much, but they certainly have a signage and they put ropes in front of things so that people don't wander in. And wandering into a cactus patch is not a good idea.
No.
Some of those, well, I only ever done it once. I got my finger touching some type of cactus, and I had these little white needles on the end of my finger, and it took me days to get out.
Ooh.
And so the cactus is not very forgiving if you run into it. A little bit of a detailed shot of a group of glass. Some nice S curves. And again, these are 7, sometimes 8 feet tall. The tall ones.
Yeah. Is this a permanent exhibit, Dennis? Is it?
I don't think so.
No.
No, they have a couple pieces of Chihuly glass that are permanent at the entrance. But I think these are just like the exhibit in Hamrack's exhibit at Phipps are intended to be temporary. And whether they've got another place to go, I don't know.
That's a nice contrast, the colored oranges at the
Yeah.
green background. Very nice.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Highlighted by the various types of cactus.
Hmm.
We've got a starting low and shooting up.
I like that perspective.
Yeah, thanks. And this is late. This is at dusk, and the lights have come on. It gives you a different perspective. And you don't want to do it. I tried doing it at dark when it was dark, and just like in the city, it's far better to do it at blue hour than try and do it when the sky is black.
Right.
Another view.
Nice.
This is probably 20 feet high.
Wow.
20
It's
feet
white.
high.
It's in black and white because it's white. And I just figured I'd finish the job and make it black and white.
You said that is white?
It is white.
Well, that would be interesting trying to how to get that out of there without breaking any of it.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's pieces. I think when he does a work like this, it's like a Christmas tree, that each one of those little arms is a separate piece of glass, I think.
Wow.
And they've got some sort of map. Because otherwise, you'd never be, and and each piece comes wrapped separately, and then they can assemble, put in the support, and then assemble it according to the plan. And whether each one of those is marked with 1 through 100 and A through Z, I don't know.
Could you imagine trying to put one of those, put that together though?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or even taking it apart?
Yeah, this is the red arrows or another construction. And each one of these constructions is, I suppose if you didn't spend much time, and Rex was out, when you've seen some of Rex's photos, he and Carol were out when we went and made some of these photos. The red is very, very, what do I want to call it? It's very bright. It's very, very present.
Yeah.
In the photograph, and used a little light here. And I didn't have a light, but it's sunlight.
I like it.
Yeah.
Only I would crop the left side.
Yeah, that little. Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah.
I like the different shades of green that show up in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the yellows in the back upper right-hand corner, the depth and detail.
Yep. Oh, that's really neat.
Yeah.
Look at those almost frost-like shades.
What I don't know either is the why. There's a name for these tubes. They give them some marketing name. One of the blue ones are neodymium, and I don't know what the red was. But why did he do what he did where he did?
Yeah.
I don't know. And I thought with photographs maybe you could discern that, but that's not obvious to me.
What I'm reminded of is when you go to Fort Ligonier and you look at some of the protective walls that they have up there with those pieces of sharp wood. It reminds me very much of Fort Ligonier.
Yeah.
Yeah. On several forts, it's like that. They have those.
Yeah. And there's a red tubes from a low to a high angle on a nice cloudy day. So they're pretty rich in being red.
Nice.
Yeah. Here's one at dusk. The tubes out there, you can see the lights. And I could have taken those out. I didn't think of that. and left in, it looks like fireflies in the base of the structure, which are light reflections.
Mm-hmm.
You take this with your R5.
No, this was taken with a Canon. I can give you more specifics, like what the lens was. If you
No,
wanna
that's all
know.
right. No, that's all right. I just was wondering if it was with your new camera.
No. If Barb took it, it was with an iPhone. And she could do this just as well as I with her photos. I don't know, I think you've seen this before. This is a photograph of a bowl that has this intricate color pattern to it that's indoors. There's one section that's indoors, and this is the one photo that I like, that I stuck in as a divider between two sections.
That's neat.
Yeah. So this is, again, it's no overcast day, no shadows. And nice interaction between the sculpture and the cacti.
I like the colors.
Yeah,
It gives a very soothing feeling.
yeah.
Oh, this looks really neat.
Yeah,
Oh, the backlight on the cactus is fantastic.
The black backlight on the glass looks really neat too.
Yeah. Trying to relate cactus and artwork. You know, I was searching for that little key that says, "Oh, here's the answer," and I don't know that I ever quite found it. Tubes illuminated artificially in the same cactus.
Wow, now they look purple.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are beautiful.
Another view.
Yeah.
That one right there may be my favorite so far.
Yeah,
I like that a lot.
I like that too. It's unusual, and it never influenced me, but I like the little firefly lights
Yeah.
at the base. This is, well, I think there's two more. This I was less impressed with. It's a group with like these flame tops. I mean, it was okay, you know. And, when Rex was out, we spent a lot of time here trying to make a decent photograph. But there's a lot of structure. You can see on the left that red thing that gets in the road.
Yeah.
And this is
That was neat.
uncharacteristic of Dale Chihuly. These are neon. Well, I call them neon. It could be argon, or it could be krypton. And the lights are colored tubes. And in the daytime, it's kind of, so what? But in the nighttime, it's different. And it's different than everything else that he did. And here's a doublet through a window, which I thought turned out pretty good. That's it.
Was that the only way to get a picture of the two of those was through the window?
I don't know. I'm sure there's another way, but I was looking for that window. You know, I like the way it framed it.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's probably a dozen of these neon sculptures. So you had a variety of opportunities to take multiple ones.
Oh, okay. That's neat.
Yeah. So hope you like it.
Makes me want to go
Very
to
nice,
Arizona.
Anis. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Very nice.
Very, very nice pictures.
Who wants to go to Arizona?
I do.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Well, one of
Dennis.
these
Very
times
nice.
I'll have to, if I can ever get through them, it's an interesting one to talk about Death Valley.
Yeah, I would be very, very much interested in seeing your take of the Death Valley.
Yeah,
Yep, because
Definitely.
I love that photo that's behind you.
yeah.
Yep.
When did you say you went to Arizona? Oh, in the winter.
Yeah, normally we go first of January, and we stayed through I think the third week in April. And that's enough. I mean, you get tired of it, you miss your friends, you know, 4 months is enough. 3 months is enough. But they don't want to rent for three months. We rent a house. We rent a regular house in a over 55 complex.
Well, that would be easier on you if you're going to be out there for that length of time to
Yeah,
rent a house. It'd be less expensive too.
yeah, yeah.
Well, thank you again, Dennis.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Dennis.
That was good, Dennis.
It's very nice.
Thanks. That's good.
Y'all get an idea now on some of the stuff you can do for it. Tips and tricks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So literally, Margie, tonight you got 2 because I did one too.
Yeah.
Yes, you did. Yeah, really.
So that was 2 different styles of tips and tricks. One was a editing version. The other one was showing some pictures. So you guys can go either way if you want to step up and help out a little bit. Although I think she just filled her schedule, so I guess I can stop preaching that one.
Hey, we have next year we can start on.
All right. I don't know that I have anything else, and we got some time. Margie, did you want to do a little of your favorite thing, or do you want me to? You got it.
Yeah.
We did some critiquing last time. I don't think you were here last meeting.
No, I couldn't make the last meeting.
We did some critiquing. So, but you're welcome to jump in there.
Yeah, let me get everything situated here. Let's see here. And did you critique the ones that needed critique, that asked to be critiqued, or was it from the?
No, we did. I filtered my critique and we worked on those. So we looked at the ones that were people actually asked to be critiqued.
Okay, hold on.
So, but we could look at, if you wanted to look at last month's, did we look at last month's
Challenge?
Voice, guys?
Y'all see it? Did y'all see that?
Yeah.
Okay, this is.
Oh, yeah, we did that one.
Yeah, we did the ones that say, we did those.
Okay, so what we need is last month's.
Take a look at last month's
challenge.
Yeah, last month's challenge, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm headed for. Let me see. All right, where is that more at? Well, let's just go. Okay, let me go to. Hold on.
Scroll down a little bit, Margie. I'll get you there.
Okay.
Okay, look on the right. See where it says critique? The red one on the right?
Yeah, I already did that.
Close that. See the X? Click on the X. Okay, now scroll down. Now there you can see your Seymour.
Yeah. Last month was April.
April.
Okay.
There we go.
Yep. Okay, we will start with this one here. There we go.
Okay. So. This
Well,
was that.
I'm
well,
gonna
this-
guess this came from the class,
Yes.
the
it
station
did.
Saturday, I should say.
It did come from Station Saturday.
Okay.
I love the way that she has 3 different colors, 3 different sizes. The background, the gray background. I'm not sure what to do about that, but I think that
Let me tell you what we were doing here.
already
It was an oops.
it was what?
Yes, we did still water. And the green one was yellow.
It got mixed with a little blue.
It did. I had a black background behind it and it slipped and it hit the glasses, obviously.
I like the splashes.
Yeah.
I didn't want to put the black back up there. And then we put the light underneath the table is how we got that. So the light was coming up against the wall rather than directly on the glasses.
So it created shadows in the glasses. I like the shadows in the glasses. And I like this, I do like the splash of water on the table. It adds to it. And being that it's blue, it adds a little color down there too. I don't think the color of the wall bothers me. I think it helps to be able to see the colors of the colors in the glasses better, having a lighter background.
I do like the idea of a lighter background, but a little bit, I don't know.
Pretty much right out of camera.
Margie, I'm not sure if your I don't know is what, could you, Marty, not being there, it's hard to know what you could and couldn't do. But it seems like if you had lowered the position of the camera, you could have got at least the cup of the glasses, if you will, against the lighter background. Whereas right now, that the table and the background kind of slice through
Right.
the green and the red glass. I think it would have been nicer if the colors were all up above the table, if you will.
Right.
Yeah, you're gonna lose something if you do that. You know what you're gonna lose? You're gonna lose the meniscus of the glass, the circumference of the glass. Instead of being that lip of the glass, you won't be able to see that anymore. It'll just be, each glass will just be a straight line.
Well, good point, Rex. And with that in mind, then you take the glasses and put them further back on the table.
Would that do it? Would that do it?
Let me.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, because so that lowers the horizon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
That
then I would
lowers
have lost my splash because,
yeah.
like I said, it was a happy mistake, I guess. Because I wasn't
I
planning
liked
on
it.
splash.
I thought it was a nice arrangement.
I think the glasses further back
The only
would give you even, and then from the same angle, you would also get, besides the side of where the table was, you would get that lowered, but you would also get that reflection of the glasses onto the tabletop. I think that would have added a little bit to it. It would have given you something in the foreground, the middle, and then the background.
Yes.
I don't know if you could use the flash on a very, very low power at a distance and maybe lightened it up a little bit better in the background.
I
And
could just use Brian's ideas of masking and I can just fix it anyway.
oh yeah, you can do that too. But
Trust me, the day that Marty and I were there, we were playing with those glasses and we moved them from one side to the other and back and forth and up and down and
Yeah, but I think this
all
was the
different
day
places.
that you missed.
Yeah, that's the day that I missed.
Yeah, this was actually the Saturday when it fell. And it was at the end and it was like, oops. But I was trying to,
or even an overhead light or something, you know. Just a little bit lighter.
Okay.
But I really like, you know, the composition, the color. I love the splash. Absolutely love that. Because it's all at random. You can see different shapes and etc. So nice job. Okay. This is by I can sit, this is by what you call it over here, Carolyn. So she's not here. Let's go on down, see what else we have. This is one by Bob. Yeah. Okay, there y'all go. Somebody start off.
But it's interesting. But it would be, you know, the yellow foreground needs to be separated from the background somehow.
Subject.
Yeah, subject.
It sort of blends in. What would that be like in black and white? Since I don't do black and white, I don't know.
I think here's a case where having the color helps, the information from the color helps identify the subject from the background.
Yeah.
If you turn it into black and white and take a look at it.
It would all be one thing.
I'd have to download it when I throw it into.
Well, I think it would bring in a lot of searching. You would be searching for what the subject is.
Yeah, you're right.
Before you realized what it is. Of course, you would figure out what it is, but it would take a lot of searching.
Be a great puzzle if it was in black and white. Okay. Anyone else?
This was, man, just to give some background, this was a plant that we uprooted from our one part of the landscape and was just laying back there in the back of my lawn among some leaves. So I just took a shot of it, just a kind of different composition with texture and color and other things going on.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's actually laying down, Bob.
Yeah, it is laying down. It's not up.
Ah, okay.
So,
you know what might be interesting, just thinking about it, is possibly using spot color, which means you're going to have to select it, which means taking a shot with the subject mask in Lightroom and seeing if it can identify that as the subject. If it does, it saves you a whole lot of work. Then invert it and then just turn the background black and white, leaving the color.
Right.
Yep.
Just an idea. Just an idea.
Yeah.
That's a nice thing. I'll try that.
Hey, Bob,
yes.
What's the megapixel on this photo?
This, I think, was taken with my iPhone. I think. Yeah. I think it was taken with my iPhone.
Because what I was going to suggest, as Margie was zooming in, I think you've got actually a nice photo, several possibilities for photos where the subject is quite clear in the zoomed in version.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you took slices out of that thing, what she's doing there, any one of those could be a nice photo.
Yeah.
You know, another
You might
thing,
not have the resolution since it's on your phone.
and I was looking at it on my monitor here. When you look carefully at it, the depth of field is narrow enough
Yep.
that the color area is sharp, and the background is actually soft, which makes it even easier to select.
Yep.
I think in this one here, I use Lightroom color picker and to try to light it up a little bit and give it some color, some yellowness and all.
I think I like it better, like right here. That zoomed in where you can see the texture, and I don't have so
Yeah.
much leaves to look at. A little bit of the leaves is great, but I like the texture of the wood of the shrub and stuff. And I think zoomed in does make a better picture.
Oh. Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah, if you know, I find that whenever I take a photo, I like zooming in. I like looking at different parts of it to see if I can come up with a better photo than what I actually took by looking at different pieces of the photo. You never know what you come up with.
Yeah.
Like,
I
right-
actually
right
really
there.
like the roots.
Yeah, right there. Yeah.
I think the other way, there's just too much information given to you, and it's
Yeah.
like you look at it and say, what am I looking at?
It gets lost.
Yeah.
It does. And you can't see the detail. But when you zoom
Yeah.
in, you see much more detail, and I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
No, that's fine. That's good points.
Unless
Very
you make this a kaleidoscope, then it's good the way it is.
Well, there you go.
I'll learn.
Yep.
I'll learn that, Marty.
Okay, thanks.
All right, here's one of Suzanne's.
Nice.
Like the lighting on it a lot.
Yeah.
And it's nice and sharp on the flower. And
It's all
soft,
a little
soft
sparkly.
in the background.
Yeah.
Good choice for black and white, Suzanne.
You think?
Yep.
You don't think it's a little boring?
No,
Oh,
Okay.
no, it's sharp as a tack.
I like the veins.
Yeah. And the pollen. It's sharp right down to the pollen.
Yeah.
you have a little bit of shimmer on the edges of the flower itself that just adds a little bit to it. I think it's very nice for. I like the angle too, because it's not just straight across. It's a little bit down on the right hand side and up. It's not, just straight across. I like the composition, because the leaves in the background help to really anchor it, make it look nice.
I think that was one of the last ones left at Cedar Creek, before they faded away.
Yeah, it's in good shape for being an old one.
Yeah.
Where is this, Suzanne?
North Park. It was shot across the lake, so I used, if I remember correctly, my long zoom on it. And
Is it a bandit?
yeah, I'm not exactly sure what that was, but next time I go up there, I'll have to ask somebody. But
Well,
yeah,
can you get in it?
I don't know how. It's like on the other side of the lake in kind of the woods, but it had some graffiti on it, and I did take one shot where a seagull was flying in front of it. I almost used that one. It was like in front of the graffiti, but some of the graffiti was kind of bad, bad language, so I didn't I didn't put it on.
What is?
Yeah, over by that like window or door there, there's graffiti, and I just thought it
This
was
graffiti?
different. No, to the left. Like that window door kind of thing.
Window door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, bad language.
Yeah. Suzanne, what's that white streak that's going diagonal? I mean, is that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
really.
It doesn't seem to be part of the tree or anything like that.
Geez, I don't know. I don't remember seeing that. I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to look at my photo. That's
The
weird.
building may be empty.
Yeah, it's a spirit.
I don't know.
You caught a spirit on camera, Suzanne.
Suzanne, your focus is good and sharp if you can read. If she zoomed in, you're clear across the lake and you can still read the writing on the wall.
Yeah, that's yeah.
But yeah, I don't remember seeing that.
Yeah, I've called a couple of odd objects that were not in the viewfinder like that.
Yeah.
And Paul and I tried to actually figure out what the heck they were, because it wasn't in the viewfinder. So I don't know what that could be, but
I don't know. I hope it's not a scratch on my lens.
You know what's interesting, looking at the full frame shot, I see basically two colors in there, the cool color, about 2/3 of it, and then the warmth on the lower left-hand side. And that's reminding me of something that we talked about at one of the sessions some weeks ago. It was called color something. The second word eludes me now, but it was called, it's what's used in Hollywood today. They'll take
I know what you're talking about.
Color
Yeah.
grading.
Color
grading.
Jim did that in presentation. I
color
think.
grading. Color grading.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's used to sometimes help the viewer identify a throwback or a look back at something where somebody's thinking about something, so they put it in a different color tone than they do for what's supposed to be the real time. Another thing is we see it in a landscape photography. A lot of times they'll reduce it to say 2 key colors instead of having all the colors of the rainbow in it. Yeah, color grading.
Yeah.
And I was looking at that, and that's what I was thinking of without knowing the word, color grading. It looks like that's a perfect example of it that happened naturally.
Well,
actually
that wasn't natural. I used like a cooling effect on the top of it, because I just thought it added to the feeling of it being deserted and run down.
Well, you really did it. That effect works. It works.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you.
I
did that deliberately.
I like the pattern on the outhouse.
Is that what that is? I don't even know. I'll have to read more about it.
I don't think
see
that's
what
an
it was.
outhouse. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Well, a house that's out. Okay, not an outhouse.
If it's an actual outhouse, I don't want to use the bottom floor.
Yeah.
This is where the door is.
Okay, to what I just read, that's used to be a water treatment plant.
Like a pump house or something.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's on the other side of the lake.
That's what I thought it was.
Are there 2 tanks over there too? Concrete rectangular containers on the backside of the building, or you don't know?
No, I don't know. I can't see it, you know. I don't know.
There's
how
one
much-
back here. And then there's the
No, no.
outhouse. But there's one behind there, right here where my cursor
There's
is.
something else, yeah. So
Yeah.
it says here that it used to be a water treatment plant.
Thank you, Annie.
Yeah, I was just curious to see what, when you said it was in North Park on the other side of the lake, I just Googled it, and there was somebody that asked that question. They were on the other side of the lake like you were, and they saw the building, and they asked what it was, and it says it used to be a water treatment center, treatment plant.
I actually like it better when it's cut down some.
I don't know, I think the whole picture is interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on there.
And there's
Yeah.
some of it, yeah, and it does get interesting too whenever you have a couple of pictures in a picture with it.
I think, yeah, I prefer it cut down, but these are our opinions only because I like the idea of not all of the trees. I feel like that takes away from it a little bit.
Well, why don't you take a chainsaw out there and start cutting down then?
And I have too many shrubs here to cut down. So, but see, I really like it like this, but this is just another way of looking at it, I guess you can say. But it shows up more color here, just a hint of color showing up here, a hint of color showing up over there. It's just a different way of looking at it.
Well, I said there's picture in a picture.
There is. There definitely is. Was there any more? It's 9 o'clock. We
Well,
can
that
go
takes
on.
us, like I say, that takes us to 9 o'clock, Marge. Let's stop there.
Sounds good.
I do want to show you guys one quick thing though, before we leave. Marty, I stole your picture and played with it. So let me come back to, let me share my screen here real quick. And you see Lightroom again?
Yes.
Okay. So I stole your picture and I fooled around a little bit with it, and this is what I came up with.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
See?
Nice.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So while I was looking at while we were talking about your picture, I was thinking I would like to have seen the lights on the background. So instead of just the gray background, but
Yep.
adding some of the lights into the background. So I did that with Lightroom.
That looks cool.
Yeah, that's so much better. It was just missing something with the gray background, but I like that.
And they're masking. So mask there, mask there, mask in the center, mask on the right. So I just fooled around. These first two didn't work out, so I shut them off. But just again, radial filters and adjusting some colors and stuff to get what I wanted out of it. Again, my opinion, it's just something I was fooling around with. But I like the idea of adding the color to the background to it.
Yeah, I do too.
Very nice.
And some of it that we did have the colors, like we had colored lights in the background. Like I said, this was as I took the picture. It just broke.
Yeah. And I also, with this one, I went down into the bottom of it, this bottom splash, and kind of brought that out a little bit more.
Yeah.
Just to kind of give it, it almost looks like, it almost gave it a kind of a 3D effect to it if you look at it, because I didn't,
Yeah.
I didn't mask the edges. I left those edges. If we look at my mask, I left the edges. You'll see how those edges are not masked there.
Right.
So I did that. I mean, obviously I didn't do this at 100%. I was trying to get it done before them, but I tried to leave those there so that they would stay dark and then lighten the other stuff up just to give it a little bit more of a 3D look to the bottom of it. Just,
It was a 3D effect on the table also.
yeah.
There it was.
But
Yeah,
anyhow,
I'm such a procrastinator too. It was like I hurried up, put my my card in, and looked through and said, "Which ones don't I have to edit too much?" Before the deadline, I think this came in like right at like 11:59 or something. Because I went, "Oh, I got to get something in." So, yeah.
Well,
Call me
very
procrastinating.
nice, very nice.
yeah. All right, guys. I think that was a pretty cool meeting.
Yeah, very nice.
I do too.
Very
Dennis,
good.
thank you again. Those were really
Yes.
nice photos.
Yes, thank you, Dennis.
Thanks, Dennis, and thanks, Brian, for all those tips. They were really, really great.
Oh my gosh, you made it look so easy. So yeah, I'm going to be trying it in Lightroom.
It literally, like I said, it's literally just a matter of playing with it and messing around with the buttons until you figure out what it is you want it to do. Those ones there, to get the color, I actually went in and used a color picker and pulled the color off of the wine. Or I should say the colored
The
water.
eyedropper.
The eyedropped water. Yeah, to get that color into my mask and push that in there. So the masking tool in Lightroom has gotten so much better. And I know I talked about that before, but it is absolutely amazing. And the more you fool around with it, the more you're going to enjoy that masking tool, because it is absolutely amazing at this point. So anyhow, good meeting. What do we got next? What's the very next thing coming up? Anybody know?
June.
It's our class.
Yeah, the next thing would be the photography class. Carl,
Yeah.
don't forget to come and unlock the door.
Yeah.
In June, our June regular meeting will be about action photography.
What day of the week was that?
It's the first Wednesday.
Got it.
Our June regular meeting will be action photography. I'll be taking care of that. We're doing a edit palooza from Beth for the SWG meeting. I don't know what her plan is for that, but we'll let her figure that out. The photo walk is the Old Bedford Village on June, what did I say, 26th, I think it was, guys.
26.
26th.
I requested it off.
All right. And then we'll go from there. July, Margie, you're giving a talk about how to critique photos. So your
Correct.
favorite subject.
Correct.
All right. Okay, that's what I have. No one else has anything. We can call it an evening.
Good.
Thanks, Vernon.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Good
See you
night.
guys.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Brian, I'm waiting for you.
Yeah, I know. I got you. Probably tomorrow.
You got me covered?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. Thanks.
All right, guys. Good night.
Have a good night.
Good night.